Good afternoon, brothers and sisters. Grace and peace to you all in the mighty name of our Lord Jesus Christ. All praises to the Most High Yahuwah in Christ. Thank you for giving me another day to serve you and to give you glory and to honor you every single day, not just one day, not just one special occasion. I love you, Jesus Christ Yahusha, and I honor you every single day with my life. No matter what I go through, no matter if I fall, no matter if I'm doing good, it doesn't matter. I'm trusting in you in all things every single day, and I'm thankful, and I'm truthfully humble and grateful for what you've done for me in my life. You've done more for me than what I can ever imagine anyone else doing for me. I know you use people, but through all my toughest and my worst times when I was alone, when I didn't feel like life was worth living anymore, you brought me peace. You brought me joy. You brought me contentment in all aspects of my life. And I owe my life to you, Lord Jesus Christ. I owe servitude to you and to glorify you by serving your people, no matter where I'm at, no matter what I'm doing, no matter what situation I'm in. I want to glorify you and give you honor and glory. Brothers and sisters, Brother Ray here. Just wanted to drop a message here and then go over some other little things concerning Christmas and why I chose not to celebrate it. But I don't condemn people who do. But you know, my convictions are different than others. Some people are different levels of convictions. My convictions are strictly based off of what the script. I'm just going to say I just go by what the word says, and I don't go by what other people are trying to, or traditions, or what other people try to say or mark. Because listen, we're followers of the way. We can't be followers of the way of the world. We have to be followers of the way according to what Jesus commands us, not because of not followers of what we feel and what we think is right, or what we appeal is right. I'm just saying for myself. This is speaking for Brother Ray. I ain't speaking for what other people say. People can say what they want to say, but I'm speaking from myself, for my convictions, from my point of view. Okay, I don't knock nobody else. Listen, I can't walk nobody else's faith walk. I can only walk Brother Ray's, and you can only walk your own faith walk too. So just keep that in mind and understand that. Just want to start at Jeremiah 23:5. This is the message concerning Messiah, and it says, "Woe to the shepherds who destroy and scatter the sheep of my pasture, declares the Lord. Therefore, thus says the Lord of Israel, concerning the shepherds who care for my people, you've scattered my flock and have driven them away. You have not attended to them. Behold, I will attend to you for your evil deeds, declares the Lord. Then I will gather the remnant of my flock out of the countries where I had driven them, and I will bring them back to their fold, and they shall be fruitful and multiply. I will set shepherds over them who will care for them, and they shall fear no more, nor be dismayed. Neither shall any but be missing, declares the Lord. Behold, the days are coming, declares the Lord, when I will raise up for David a righteous branch, and he shall reign as king and deal wisely, and shall execute justice and righteousness in the land. In his days, Judah will be saved, Israel will dwell securely, and this is the name by which he will be called. The Lord is our righteousness," right? Therefore, behold, the days are coming, declares the Lord, when they shall no longer, as the Lord lives, who brought up people out of Israel, out of the land of people of Israel, out of the land of Egypt, but as the Lord who brought up and led the offspring of the house of Israel out of the north country and out of the countries where he had driven. So when you look at I'm in my study Bible here, so you look at it in verse 1, it says, he's talking about the shepherds, the unrighteous rulers of Judah, right? The people, the rulers, the priests at that time, they were leading people astray. They were lying. They were selling on peace and prosperity. It wasn't trying to get people to repent and have a change of heart. So that's what we need to do now as ministers and worshipers and honorers and servants of the Most High. We need to be preaching a message of repentance, changing your heart, and serving the Most High, and giving our lives to Christ, and living, obeying according to what he commands us, right? According to scripture. Okay. So in 23:3, it says, the return of Babylon captivity is promised, as well as a yet future gathering for all countries. then you go to verse number 5. It says the branch is Jesus Christ, Yahusha Hamashiach, the future messianic title, and it signifies the new life through Jesus Christ. And we will deal securely with his people, right? We will have secure righteousness for his people, because through Jesus Christ we are secured by faith in him alone, trust and abide in him alone, right? So we are made whole. But the thing is, the key is, we can't just say we trust and we abide in him. We have to live according to what he tells us, according to what the scriptures say, right? And then on 23 it says concerning the future gathering. So we know that Jeremiah was always in a position. The Most High had commanded him to warn Judah of the coming destruction if they continue to disobey and be in idol worship and living abominable wickedness, perverse nation. They were not obeying the Most High. He was calling for them to be repentance. We as brothers and sisters in Christ, as servants, when we preach our message, it can't be a message of just prosperity and getting money and name it and claim it. That stuff is not in the scriptures. None of that stuff is in the scriptures. There is no prophet, there is no disciple, there is no man of God in the scriptures that talks about getting rich, getting paid, getting money. Ain't nothing. I mean, I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with having things, right? But when you have pastors that preach that, and I'm not knocking nobody, what message does that send to people, believers in Christ? How does that strengthen their faith into trust in the Most High in tough situations? If you're preaching about money and prosperity now, what happens when they take all of that stuff away? When they take money away, when you can't buy or sell, and you have to live off the land, you have to figure out another way. You have to trust in another source. That's why we have to trust in the Most High. We have to give our lives to the Most High. We have to put our faith in him only, not in the things that we have, not in the things that we can do physically. He gives us the ability to do these things, and we need to honor him with our lives. Brothers and sisters, we in the last days, it's time out to be playing mixed games and going back and forth. Just like I said yesterday, we can't play around no more. It's time to stop playing. We need to cry out in the wilderness. We need to cry out, be a voice crying out in the wilderness for people to repent and turn to the Lord Jesus Christ. It doesn't mean that you will have everything all together. I'm going to make this clear. Jesus Christ, Yahusha, is the one that transformed you. When you get in his word and you study his word, he's the one that transformed you and renew you. It ain't you. You're not the one that's doing it. It's the work of Jesus Christ, the finished work of him on the cross, but by the word of the washing of the word for your mind and your heart to be transformed. Listen, I've studied, I've read, I broke down scriptures. I've talked to other brothers and other ministers. The only way that you're going to be transformed by the Most High through Christ is to get in his word and obey what he tells you to do. You have to obey what he tells you. If you do not obey, you will not endure in this walk. You will fade away. You'll give up. You'll get weak. You'll tap out. You cannot do it on your own. You cannot say, I have my own personal relationship with God, and expect to not listen to his word and abide in his word in order to stay in the faith of the way or be a Christian, right? We have to obey his word. We have to stay in his word and abide in his word and allow his word to transform us from the inside out. It has to be a heart transformation, a mind transformation, a washing. You have to cleanse the old out and fill it in with the new, pure, uncorrupted word of the Most High, the infallible word of the word of God. The truth is in the scriptures. If we abide in the scriptures, we stand in the scriptures, then we can endure forever, right? Then we can be able to endure that's how we endure. We're supposed to endure through his word, right? His word endures forever. So if we abide in his word, then we should be able to endure forever, right? I want to go over another scripture here real quick. One second. I'll go ahead and see Corinthians. Let's go to Corinthians 1:15 real quick. Okay. Let's see. Let's see. Hold on. Let's see. Hold on 1 second, guys. There's two. One moment. Hold on 1 second, guys. I have something else I wanted to go over real quick. One second. One moment. I had what I was looking for. Hold on 1 second, guys. Let me check. Okay. Sorry about that, brothers and sisters. I had to go ahead and do something real quick. But yeah, I'm gonna leave this here. So what I was saying was the reason for me not celebrating Christmas, there's a lot of stuff, man. A lot of stuff that I could go into. But the bottom line is that for me, even though people say that we can honor Jesus in many ways, we could take, you know, we can honor him the way we want to, but that's not what the scriptures say. The scriptures doesn't tell us that we can honor him any kind of way we want to, because that's not true. That's not showing fear and showing honor to the Most High. Because if we honor the Most High, if we honor Jesus Christ, then we have to honor him the way that he had told us to honor him, in spirit and truth. We can't use our feelings and our emotions in our because of what our kids say or what the world says or what tradition says. And most of these traditions from Christmas, they come from Greek and Roman influence, which was never a part of the Hebrew faith in the beginning, right? The Israelites were not to take on the customs of traditions of those nations or any other nation, right? Like I said, people may come at me and attack me, but it's true. The Most High set the children of Israel set apart from the rest of the world. Now, granted, people say, "Oh, we're Gentiles." Yeah, I understand that. But once we become into the faith of the Messiah, right? If we truly want to honor him, then we have to understand what he's told his children not to take on traditions and ways of the other nations, right? The only reason why people were able to follow Christ in those regions because Rome dominated Judea. They dominated those races. They conquered them, but they served a lot of idols and a lot of gods. So what they've done was they took the faith and blended it in with Greek mythology and then all these other things too. They took it and they said, well, you guys can serve. They told the Hebrews and the Jews, they said, you guys can serve your God, but we're gonna blend in. We're gonna take your faith and take a twist to it, and they ended up blending in a lot of different things into the faith, which they should have never done. The Hebrews never wanted to blend in their faith. They fought back. If you guys look at the Maccabean the Maccabean Wars in Maccabees, the Hebrews fought back from the Greeks trying to enforce them to make them eat pork and make them take on their other customers. They didn't want. They fought back, even though they got destroyed. They got wiped out for the most of. No, they won in that one, but they did in the ones with Rome. When Rome came and they took over, they just totally wiped out. They dominated. You know what I mean? Rome was a superpower, and they dominated. And they had a lot of people, Yahudim. They separated. They left the area. Some people stayed. Some people got blended in. Um, it was a mixture of different people in that area. Mixed group, Greeks and Jews. There was uh, just regular Hebrews there, but the whole place was like kind of like scattered in a bit. You think about it, you look at it, but the whole idea is this. Look, that Rome and the Greek and the Roman uh, influence was instrumental in the word blended. When they blended in, they had a lot of philosophers who were Greek philosophers. A lot of those fathers that they talk about, the church fathers, for the Christian faith, right? Because before, the followers of the way weren't called Christians; they were called followers of the way. The Greeks and the Romans, they gave that name Christian it's actually supposed to be a bad word, like a derogatory name, but people are widely accepted. We don't look at each other as a derogatory word for being a Christian now, but at the time that's what they used it to. So they blended in a lot of different traditions, and even if you look at the history of Christmas, it goes. And I'm just going to go back to Christmas. Christmas, you look at their history, it goes back a long time ago. I mean, it's to when you look at the winter solstice and all that stuff like that, you guys got to look deep into these things and study. There's a lot of different information out there, and like I said, I'm not trying to knock nobody or put nobody down for for whatever they want to do on that day. But as for me, I don't, because I see too much mixture of the world in it and not of Christ in it. I don't see Christ mixed into that, and I can't accept it. I can't continue to honor my Lord Jesus Christ when it has nothing to do with Christ at all. Right? Like I said, Greek and Roman culture had a major influence in the faith, and they've blended it in. That's why the Roman Catholics and the Council of Nicaea, all of those people, they it's like they how do you say it? They sold the devil had sold what do you say, tares with wheat, how they say, and they grew up together, so it's like blended in. So that's why when you see a lot of people will fight you because you don't celebrate Christmas, because it's been a tradition that had been ingrained along for centuries ago. So the followers of the way never celebrated that, never celebrated Christmas. They never honored the Messiah that way. The way they did honor him is through the way he told them is through the Lord's Supper. So this is what in Corinthians, you look at First Corinthians, Paul was telling them, he was saying for the Lord's Supper, it says, but in the following, I'm gonna go here in 17, 1 Corinthians 11:17. We're gonna go. It says, but in the following instructions, I do not commend you, because when you were together, and not for better, for the worse. For in the first place, when you come together as a church, I hear that there are divisions among you, and I believe it in part, for there must be factions among you, in order that those be genuine among you may be recognized. When you come together, it is not the Lord's Supper that you eat, for in eating each one goes ahead of his own meal. One goes hungry, another gets drunk. What? Do you not have houses to eat and drink in? Or do you despise the church of God and humiliate those who have nothing? What shall I say to you? Shall I commend you in this? No, I will not. For I received from the Lord what I also delivered to you, that the Lord Jesus is on the night when he was betrayed, took bread, and we had given thanks. He broke it and said, this is my body, which is for you. Do this in remembrance of me. And this is the same way. Also, he took the cup after supper, saying, "This cup is the new covenant in my blood. Do this as often as you drink it in remembrance of me. For as often as you eat bread and drink the cup, you proclaim the Lord's death until he comes." I'm just going to read the rest of this too, all the way to the end to 33. What is it? 33. And it says, "For whoever therefore eats the bread of, drinks the cup of the Lord, is unworthy manner, will be guilty of concerning the body and the blood of the Lord. Let a person examine himself, then so eat of the bread and drink of the cup." You have to be a follower of Christ, right? And for anyone who eats and drinks without discerning their body, eats in their heart and their drinks judgment on himself. This is why many of you are weak and ill, and some have died. But if we judge ourselves truly, we will not be judged. But when we are judged by the Lord, we are disciplined, so that we may not be condemned along with the world. So then, my brothers, when you come together to eat, wait for another. If anyone is hungry, let him eat at home. And then when you come together, it will not be for judgment. About the other things, I will give you direction when I come, right? So when we look at the Lord's Supper, when we look at that, this is what Jesus Christ commanded us to do, right? He said, when you do this in remembrance of me. It's in Luke 22, 19. Let's go to that real quick. We'll go to Luke 22, 19. Luke 22, 19. Let's go to Luke 22, 19. And like I said, brothers, I ain't trying to knock nobody for their house. You're listen, man. You can't, after people learning how to celebrate Christmas all their lives, and you try to teach somebody else something that is concerning the word and all the indoctrination, man. Only the Most High can change people's hearts. You're not trying to force nobody to change nothing. You just want people to point people in the right direction according to the scriptures. That's what we're supposed to do. We can't sit here and have arguments and debates about, oh, is it right? Is it we have freedom in Christ? We can do this, we can do that, because it's going to be a never ending it's going to be a never ending story with that. You're going to go back and forth arguing. You don't want to strive and argue with nobody, but you want people to think for themselves. You want people to ask the Holy Spirit, to get in the Holy Spirit and ask the Most High to guide you. Say, look, God, look, Most High, I want your guidance and wisdom in this. Some people not going to want to listen. Some people just not going to care to change. Nobody's going to want to think these things because, listen, when you follow a tradition for so long and it's become deep rooted inside you for so many years, people will, when you come with something that's other than what they've learned from tradition and from man, they will not break from it. They will refuse because the seed was already planted long time ago. It was a spirit that was already out there, and it just caught fire. It just people it's only going to take the power of God to get people to see things differently. So you can't force nobody to see it your way. Either side, it doesn't matter if you believe or you don't believe, because the thing is this: those who come into the truth, if we know the truth and we just tell the brothers and sisters, this is not the way to honor the Most High or to honor Jesus Christ, and they don't listen, then we've done our job. You've warned them, you let them know. Some of you guys present information and studies and this, that, and they still don't want to listen. I mean, it's like beating a dead horse. It's like you're not gonna make somebody change because their feelings are tied to it. Their emotion is tied to it. It's the feeling, and you know what? Some people say that on their worst times, you know, sometimes they may have had a bad youth or youth time when they were kids, or they didn't have a good, or they had bad experiences where someone made them feel bad on Christmas, or something happened to them that was real around that holiday season. Somebody showed them mad love, or something happened where someone did something for them or their families or something. I mean, listen, we could do work every day for the Lord. It doesn't matter what day it is, right? Some people put days higher than other days and things like that. But in reality, I mean, if you think about it, we have to serve every day. We have to love people every day. So whether it's on the Christmas day, whether it's on Hanukkah, whatever it's on any other day, we're still supposed to do good regardless every single day. So it's not like we're just going to take this one day and say, "Oh, this is Jesus' birthday. We want to celebrate him and honor him." You should do it every single day. I don't mind people. If that's what you want to do, that's fine. You want to say, "Oh, I want to honor him on that day," that's fine. That's up to you. But that's not what the Most High is telling me to do. We're supposed to honor him every single day and give glory to him by living and obeying his commands. And celebrating holidays that don't associate it with him is not honoring his commands. And neither if it's like, if you look at the other side of it, you neither is condemning anyone, but the scriptures say, "Don't honor me by the ways of man." It tells you that we don't need to honor the Most High by tradition, right? Don't fall into tradition. The scriptures in there say that. I'm gonna go to Luke 22:19 real quick, and it says, what is it, 19:22? What's it, Luke 19:22? Where are we at? One moment. I lost my place. It's Luke 22:19. Okay, now this is the Lord's Supper right here, saying Lord's Supper. It says on verse 7, it says, "Then came the day of the unleavened bread, on which the Passover lamb had to be sacrificed. So Jesus said, Peter and John, saying, 'Go prepare the Passover for us, that we may eat it.' They said to him, 'Where will we have us prepare?' He said to them, 'Behold, when you have entered the city, a man carrying a jar of water will meet you, following him to the house he enters. And tell the master of the house, the teacher says to you, where is the guest room? Where may I eat Passover with disciples? And he will show you a large upper room furnished, prepared there.' And then he went and found it, and just as he had told him, they prepared the Passover. And when an hour came, he reclined at the table, the apostles with him, and he said to them, 'I have earnestly desired to eat the Passover with you before I suffer. For I will tell you, I will not eat until the fulfilled of the kingdom of God.' And he took the cup, and when he gave thanks, he said, 'Take this and divide it amongst you. For I will tell you that from now I will not drink the fruit of the vine until the kingdom of God comes.' And he took the bread, and when he had given thanks, he broke it and gave it to them, and saying, 'This is my body, which is given for you. Do this in remembrance of me.' And likewise the cup after they had eaten, he said, 'This is the cup is poured out. This is a new covenant in my blood. Behold, that the hand of him who betrays me is with me at this table. For the Son of Man goes as is determined, but woe to the man whom he has betrayed. So this is how we should honor the Most High, right? This is what we do, and it's a remembrance of him, right? We shouldn't do things in remembrance of him if it doesn't honor him, right? But like I said, again, on the flip side, I'm not trying to knock nobody. I'm not trying to put nobody down. I'm not trying to say, "Oh, you're not a follower of Christ," but you shouldn't tell people either that because they don't celebrate it that they're not followers of Christ, because that doesn't determine anybody's faith walk, right? Our faith walk is because we trust in Jesus Christ, we abide in Him, and we believe in Him. That's where our faith comes from, right? The finished work on the cross through the Messiah, right? So everybody who's a believer, you don't have to go by a title. A title doesn't save you. You know what denomination doesn't save you. You know, and just at the same time, we can't look at people. This goes all across the board. It doesn't matter who you are, right? If you are in Christ, you are a new creature. We're all brothers and sisters. If we believe that Jesus Christ came, died, lived perfect life, died on the cross for our sins, resurrected, overcame them. If we believe in him, right, who is the Son of God, who is the image of the Most High, right? If we believe in him and trust in him, then we're all brothers and sisters in Christ. We can't be looking at each other and going at each other's necks and arguing each other back and forth, because we know what's true. You know, everybody know what's true. Even if you don't want to believe, you know, we know that December 25th is not Jesus Christ's birthday. Everybody knows that. But it's because for the sake of tradition, that is why this is why we have these disagreements, because of man-made traditions. If we didn't have man-made traditions input into it, we wouldn't have these. See, we forsake the commandment of the Lord for the sake of tradition, and that's the issue that we have at hand. You understand? We shouldn't forsake the commandments for the sake of our tradition, our man-made traditions, right? And that's what a lot of us do. We do that a lot. Hold on one second, guys. Hold on. I'm back, y'all. Hold on. Sorry about that. So the scripture I want to go to next is Mark 7:7-9. Mark 7:7-9. Okay, so we're looking at Mark 7:7-9. I know I've been a little bit long on this, but I just wanted to go over this with you guys. And, you know, like I said, I love each and every one of you guys. I'm not trying to put nobody down for celebrating Christmas, because I know sometimes around these times could be a really depressing time for a lot of people. A lot of people are lonely. A lot of people don't have family with them. A lot of people long for the gathering. I talk to people all the time, people, friends. You know, listen, man, I'm in this world too with y'all, and I have to go through all of these things, because sometimes, you know, we all have emotions. We have feelings. God created us with emotions and feelings, you know, but we can't, you know, we just can't let our feelings override our faith in Christ and what we believe in Christ, you know. And I know it's hard, it's tough, and there's nothing wrong with people fellowshipping and gathering together. And I, you know, the Most High, He desires us to have love for our neighbors. That's the honest truth for this whole thing. Before I go into what is it, Mark 7:7-9, is this: the Most High put us here to love one another, and if we don't have love, then it doesn't matter what we celebrate. It doesn't matter what we don't celebrate. Um, if you want to truly honor the Lord Jesus Christ, Yahusha, you will be known by your love. Your fruit of your love has to be sincere and honest and true. And you know, there's a lot of people who celebrate Christmas that are really true believers in Christ, and they have no idea where the origins of Christmas came from. So you really can't look at people in a sense and say, well, you celebrate Christmas, after you found out you found out the truth, and you know the truth, right? And then you see another person that celebrates Christmas, and they really, honor, truly love Jesus, and they want to honor him, I mean, how could you look at them in a sense of trying to condemn them because their heart is not in the wrong place? You the best thing you do is you educate your brothers and sisters, let them know what the truth of the scriptures saying according to what tradition says, and you let the truth weigh out. If they don't want to receive it, then that's on them. That's them. But you know what? You still continue to love that brother and sister. You have to listen, man. This walk is about love. If you don't have love, you don't have nothing in this walk. You got to have grace. You got to have mercy for people. Because in this world where we get condemned all the time, it doesn't matter if it's Christmas Day, it doesn't matter if it's Passover, it doesn't matter if it's Sabbath, it don't matter. Each day we still got to be representatives of Christ. It doesn't matter where we come from, what people say, we still have to love like Christ. If we're not loving like Jesus Christ, we're not doing it, brothers and sisters. It doesn't, you can't look at people and say, "Oh, you celebrate Christmas, but you hating on your brother. You talking about him. You're not obeying the commands, and you're talking about somebody else who's truly sincere in their faith, and they really love Jesus, and they really want to do his will, but they celebrate Christmas, so you look at them like they're not a brother. You count them as a heathen. You know what I mean? And even then, even with a heathen, you either got to go deeper than that, because Jesus said, "Love everybody the same, no matter who it is." And that goes even deeper, because you got some brothers that are Hebrew brothers that will tell you because you are a Gentile, or you part of a certain nation, you can't be saved. And that's a lie from hell too. So that's why without love, you cannot fulfill the commandments of the Most High. You have to love God with all your heart, soul, mind, and strength, right? You have to obey what he says according to the scriptures, not what your feelings say and not what people say. And then you have to love your neighbor as yourself. So that means if you love your neighbor as yourself, that means that regardless of what they believe, they celebrate Christmas, or if they don't, or if they do things that you don't like, or if they don't like you, or if they persecute you, or if they come at you, guess what? You still got to stay in love. You still got to stay in righteousness and truth. You still got to obey the commandments through Jesus Christ. You can't break away from that. You can't separate it. Jesus Christ said, if you don't love, you are not my disciple. You cannot enter into the kingdom without love in your heart. You cannot serve. You cannot endure this faith walk without showing love to each and every person. I had to learn this the hard way. I grew up in a religious background, you know what I mean? And I didn't know no better. I followed tradition too, and followed ways, and all these things. I followed them because that's what I was taught. That's what we were taught. My mom, my dad, my grandparents, my great grandparents, my great great grandparents. That's why it's important to go out and search your history and know where you came from and search deep. A lot of people, when you start digging and peeling back layers and stuff, trying to find out where you came from, a lot of people are going to not like you when you start finding out the truth and telling people about it. You're going to have your friend list is going to drop when you start finding out the truth about stuff, about the scriptures and what the traditions and what man-made religion has taught you. It's gonna give you, you're gonna hurt, you're gonna feel something inside. You're gonna feel some pain inside, because you're gonna feel like you weren't taught the truth, or you were deceived. We know that Satan is a god of this world, and he's entered into the faith, and he's tried to contort what God has put forth, and he's still trying to do it now. With his tares, he threw it in the tares and mixed it in the wheat, and full soon sooner or later we're going to see everything come to full circle. We're going to see the wheat and the tares are going to get knocked off, right? And we're going to have the wheat, right? We're going to see who the true followers of Christ versus the ones who say they believe but they truly don't believe in their heart or love him. And time will tell. Tests will tell. Trials and tribulations will tell. We will see um, who is going to be for Christ and who's not, but that's not what your focus is to be. Your main focus is to focus on loving your neighbor as yourself and serving them, help building them up, teaching them the way, showing love regardless of what they feel about you. That's what being a true man of God is. Doing right in a world where there's all wrong, and the wrong is being glorified and righteousness being frowned upon. You have to stand in righteousness and truth regardless. Jesus Christ, he did not break rank. When everybody wanted to crucify him and pin him up to the cross, he didn't argue, he didn't murmur, he didn't complain. He walked in and he knew what he had to do. He hurt it inside. His human side was hurting in pain. He was asking the Most High, if you could take this cup away from me, you could take it away, please. But he stayed the course and he endured to the end because he knew that he came to fulfill the mission. He came for the lost sheep of Israel. And through his death, everyone is saved by his name. He died once for every single soul in this world. And if we have to understand that, we have to understand that we're not of our own. Our soul belongs to the Most High. Our bodies belong to the Most High, right? And we have to come back. We have to turn away from our own ways and our own mindsets and come back to the truth, which is through the scriptures. We have a lot of pastors out there. There's a lot of good, there's a lot of bad pastors out there. That God the Most High allowed it, but it's up to us to find out the truth. That's why he wants us to know him for ourselves so we don't be deceived. Just like in Jeremiah, there were a lot of prophets, Jeremiah 23:5, there were prophets and priests and stuff like that. They were lying to the people. They were keeping the people, they were not teaching the people the truth. That's why the Most High wants us to repent and come to him and surrender our lives to him. We surrender our lives to him. Let him guide us. Let his word guide you. Don't let a tradition guide you. Don't let what other people are doing, guide you. You can't follow another person's faith walk and say, oh, this person seems to be a man or woman of God. I want to follow that person. No, you follow Christ. I don't care how good they are. I don't care if they are. I don't care if it's a man of God or woman of God. If you put your faith in the scriptures, you love your brothers, you love your sisters, but you follow no man. You respect a man, you treat him as a brother, but you do not put your faith in a person. You put your faith in Jesus Christ and his word above all, because listen, when you start putting your faith and trust in people and what they believe and what they say, and then when you find out otherwise it's not true, or if you've been deceived, you've been tricked, or they weren't completely honest with you, and then you start to be disappointed, and you start to get upset, and you start not to like that person. You got to understand, all human beings are flawed. The only one is perfect, and that is the Most High Yah through Jesus Christ, right? It was only one perfect, which is God, who came down and made himself manifest to the flesh, right? For us all to see and display. Died for all of our sins, reconciled us. That's why we have to put our trust in him. When you put your trust in the rock, in the solid foundation in Christ, your faith cannot be broken. That's why I tell people that over and over again. You trust in the Lord Jesus Christ. You abide in him. You let his word fill you up and you be transformed. None of this other stuff in the world can shake you if you put your faith and your trust in Jesus Christ. Now, all the holiday stuff, Christmas stuff, you know what? If you don't believe in Christmas, which I don't believe in Christmas, guess what? I'm going to still show my people love. I'm going to still honor and respect them. I'm going to still be like, bless you, my brother. I love you, my brother. Thank you. I ain't going to be mean to them and be hateful to nobody. Just like people who believe in Christmas or whatever, celebrate it or whatever, don't use that as a tool to try to make somebody feel like they're not a believer in Christ, because as far as I'm concerned, those who obey what Christ says, those who believe and trust in what Christ says, are followers of Christ. Those who place their faith in him are followers of Christ. Not because you don't believe in a certain holiday or tradition, that does not make you a follower of Christ. True followers of Christ obey his commands and live by his word. That's just the bottom line. It's not a burden. It's not a lie. It's not a work. It's not a work to try to prove yourself. Because if you trust in Christ, you listen to what he say. You obey what he tell you, not what you want to do, not by what your feelings say, but what does he tell you to do? That's how you know if you're walking in the right direction. Is his ways over my ways, supersede my ways, or my ways or my feelings that say, you know what, Christ, nah, I'm gonna let you slide on this one. I'm gonna do what I want to do. I'm gonna put myself, my beliefs, my thoughts, my traditions above what you tell me to do. Or I'm gonna try to make it. I'm gonna try to blend it and make it fit with you. That don't work either. Can't do that. If somebody told me my birthday was a certain day and I knew it wasn't, how would I be honored if my birthday wasn't on that date? It just doesn't make any sense. And I understand people want to remember you, but the scriptures say how you should remember him taking up the Lord's Supper, Passover, offering like Passover. He's a Passover lamb. So that's what the scriptures say on how we should honor the Most High, not according to what we say. It's not what I'm telling you, it's what the Bible say. It's not what tradition in Rome and Greek and all that stuff saying. No, it's what the scriptures say. We have to get back to the scriptures, the word. The word is the truth. Everything a man says is a lie. And we got to come to grips to that. We got to understand those who serve Christ serve him in spirit and in truth, right? That's what we're supposed to be. So I'm going to go here on the last one I'm going to do here real quick. And I know it's running a little late. And I'm sorry about that, guys. I'm just trying to, let you guys understand where my perspective is coming from with all this. Like I said, I'm not trying to hold nobody down or put nobody down or try to condemn anybody, but I'm doing this out of love because I love both sides. Me, I don't celebrate it. I just don't believe in it. I have people and friends and family that do, but I don't knock them. I tell my son, I tell my friends, family, I said, look, y'all do what y'all got to do what I got to do. I still love you. I'm going to still eat. I'm going to still fellowship, but I will not be partaking in any gifts or any of that other extra stuff like that. You know what I mean? But listen, if you want me to get you a gift, if I have the money, I'll buy you a gift any day. It don't matter. It don't have to be no special day or anything like that. I can go ahead and get you a gift. How about celebrating Hanukkah? Hanukkah is in the Bible, right? So so it says Mark 7, and then we're gonna go to, it says Mark 7:1. It says, this is over the Pharisees' traditions. It says, now when the Pharisees gathered to him with some of the scribes who had come from Jerusalem, they saw some of his disciples ate with hands that were defiled, that was unwashed. For the Pharisees, all the Jews do not eat unless they wash their hands, holding in tradition of the elders. And when they come from the marketplace, they do not eat unless they wash. And there was many other traditions that they observed, such as washing of cups, pots, copper vessels, dining couches. And the Pharisees and the scribes asked him, why do your disciples not walk according to tradition of elders by eating of defiled hands? Now, granted, when you read this, right, it's not saying obedience to Christ. It was their traditions. There were the Pharisees' traditions, right? It says, are there many other traditions they observed that were washing of cups and pots? Pharisees, scribe asked him, it wasn't nothing about Christ. It was tradition of the elders. That's what they're referring to, right? That's what, when they say that, that's what that means. That means that they were their own man-made traditions. It never said anything about the commandments of the Most High, right? Right? Don't touch that, because that's not true. You can't add that and say, oh, you got to do this because I'm telling you to do this because this is what we believe. But does the Most High tell you to do that? No. That don't make you right. No, that's wrong. And he said, why do your disciples not walk according to tradition of the elders, but eat with defiled hands? And he said to them, well, did Isaiah prophesy of you hypocrites, as it is written? This people honors me with their lips, but their heart is far from me. In vain they do worship me, teaching as doctrines the commandments of man. Bingo, right there. Teaching the commandments of man, right? You leave the commandment of God and hold on to the tradition of men. And he said to you, have a fine way of rejecting the commandment of God in order to establish whose tradition? Your tradition. See here. So it says, for Moses said, honor your father and mother, and whoever reviles his father and mother must surely die. But you say, if a man tells his father or his mother, whatever you would have gained from me is a Corban that is given to God, then you are no longer permit him to do anything for his father and mother, thus making void the word of God by your tradition. Now, and many such things you do. And he called the people to him again and said, hear me, all of you who understand, there is nothing outside a person that's by him going into him can defile him, but the things that come out of a person would defile him. And when he had entered into the house and left the people, when he said to them, then are you also without understanding? Do you not see whatever goes into a person from outside cannot defile him, since it enters into his heart, but his stomach is expelled? Thus it declare all foods clean. Well, that's what they say in this one. And he said, what comes out of a person is what defiles him. For what from within our heart of a man comes evil thoughts, sexual immorality, theft, murder, adultery, coveting, wickedness, deceits, sensuality, envy, slander, pride, foolishness, and all these things come from within. They defile a person, right? It is true. It's what comes out of a man's heart is what defiles a person. That's why the hardest man is desperately wicked above all things. And in reference to back where it says, honor your mother and father, people were saying, no, you do have gain for me is for gain what is given to God. So meaning that what they set apart for God, they can't use it to help their father and mother. Of course, the Most High Jesus Christ, he says, I desire mercy, not sacrifice, right? So he says, you see your father and mother in need, or you see somebody in need, of course you take what you have and set aside. You can use it to help somebody, right? God has everything. He's sufficient. And when you love him, when you love your neighbor, when you take care of your mother and father and you honor them, you're loving the Most High. That's what it means. That means going above and beyond. If you have somebody in need and you're able to do it, do it. If you have something you can do it. Don't just leave it. It's basically like this. Like on the Sabbath, they say, if you see your mule in the ditch, wouldn't you help somebody to get it out of the ditch? That's just the common that's just the basic law of the commandments, is to love your neighbor as yourself. That's the common law. That's the basic law of man. It's just, you have to help your person in need, your brother in need, your sister in need. Your mother and father is in need, they struggling, you help them out. You see a brother running into the wrong path, is about to end his in disaster. You don't let him. You just don't watch and let him just fall into a trap or just make himself get messed up. You have to warn that brother, because that's blood on your hands. If you don't warn a brother and sister, if you don't try to help them that there's danger ahead or a situation ahead, you're not loving your neighbor if you don't do that. Just like in a sense, when we try to help people and educate people on traditions of man, people don't want to listen, but you still have to make sure that your hands are clean, that blood is not on your hands, especially if you're a minister of the Lord. You have to make sure you warn the people. You let them know that there's danger ahead. Repent, turn from that. Don't go that way. Don't go that route. You're headed for destruction. I don't want to see my brother or sister die, or even a stranger, even a neighbor. Because remember, you love your brothers and sisters, but you love your neighbor as yourself. Everybody is a neighbor. Anybody in the vicinity around you, you have to love them, and you have to warn them when there's danger ahead. And if you can help somebody with anything that God has given you, then you help that person. You don't neglect them. You don't let people get set up for failure. You don't see your enemies. If you see somebody that persecutes you or comes at you and they're hungry, you give them food. You give them water. You don't let the people struggle. That's why that's what that was the core of Christ's message was love. That was his core of his message. Even though he preached against repentance and turning away from our ways, but his main message was about love, because that's what love is. Love helps you, prepares your heart to turn away from all the stuff you learned in the past and come to the truth in Christ. And that is submission to his word and staying in his love and abiding in his love and abiding in his commands. Not forsaking your brother or sister, not lying, not cheating, not stealing, not hurting your neighbor, not wishing that you had something that he had, or wishing that you had that neighbor's wife. You know what I mean? Or making idols, or making yourself an idol over God, over the Most High Yah, right? These are the things I'm talking about. Honor your mother and father, right? These are the core. That's the core message of Christ. He never did away with any of that stuff. If anything, he kind of like he fulfilled it, and he pulled it forward. He put it more forward. He said, "Look, if you ain't loving your neighbor, I ain't talking about your brother. I ain't talking about your sister that you know. I'm talking about people you don't know. How you gonna love me if you can't love them?" I'm gonna go over. I'm gonna go over one last thing here. This is from the book of. This is from Colossians, the letter Colossians, chapter 2, and I'm gonna go all the way to about. Let's see. I'm gonna go to about 10. Okay, so this is the regarding philosophy. So it says, this is in 2, we'll do 2:1. It says, "For I want you to know how great a struggle I have for you." This is Paul, the Apostle Paul speaking. "For you, that those at Laodicea, and for all who have not seen me face to face, that their hearts may be encouraged, being knit together in love, to reach all the riches of full assurance of understanding, of knowledge of God's mystery, which is Christ, in which are hidden all the treasures of wisdom and knowledge. I say this in order that no one may delude you with plausible arguments. For though I am absent in the body, yet I am with you in spirit, rejoicing to see good order and the firmness of your faith in Christ. Therefore, as you receive Christ Jesus the Lord, so walk in him, rooted and built up in him, established in your faith, just as you were taught, abounding in thanksgiving. See to it that no one takes you captive by philosophy, empty deceit, according to human tradition, according to the elemental spirits of the world, not according to Christ." I'm going to read that again for you. See, this is to the church in Colossae, right? And it says, "See to it that no one takes you captive by philosophy and empty deceit, according to human traditions, according to the elemental spirits of the world, not according to Christ. For in him the whole fullness of the deity dwells bodily, and you have been filled in him who is a head and rule and authority." Right? One more I want to go over too. This is in regarding to holidays and stuff as well. Now, this is Paul talking about a legalism. It says, uh, but before I go there, I said the fullness of the Godhead, right? Everything, the Father, Son, Holy Spirit is through Jesus Christ, and we know that, right? He is God made manifest in flesh, and we are saved by his name. Remember, we are saved by no other name. Why would the Most High make us be saved by another name other than to himself, right? Yah saves, Yahuwah saves. But I want to go here, and this is in regard to legalism. And it says, "In him all who were circumcised were circumcision made without hands, putting off the body of the flesh by circumcision of Christ, having seen buried with him in baptism, in which you were also raised with him through faith in the powerful working of God, who raised him from the dead, and you were dead in your trespasses and uncircumcision of your flesh. God has made alive together with him, having forgiven us all our trespasses by canceling the record of debt that stood against us with its legal demands, right? This set aside, nailing it to the cross, he disarmed the rulers and authorities and put them to shame, open shame by triumphing over them in him. Therefore, let no one pass judgment on your questions of food and drink or regard to festival or new moon or Sabbath. These are a shadow of things to come, but the substance belongs into Christ. Exalted over mystical teachers said, let no one disqualify your sister asceticism and worship of angels, going on detail about visions, puffed up without reason by sensuous mind, and not holding fast a head, for whom the whole body is nourished knit together through its joints and ligaments grows with growth from God. And I'm gonna continue on this too, because this goes over all these different things on how the church is supposed to act and respond to the ways and traditions of the world. And it says, if with Christ you died to the elemental spirits of the world, why is, if you are still alive in the world, do you submit to regulations? Do not handle, do not taste, do not touch, refer to things that all perish as they are used according to human precepts and teachings. These have indeed an appearance of wisdom in promoting self-made religion and as asceticism and severity to the body, but they are of no value stopping indulging in the flesh. Right? They don't, because when you put yourself in all of that stuff, you're getting engrafted into the traditions and the ways of this world, humans understanding and precepts. Okay, and then it says here on 3, if you then have been raised with Christ, seek things that are above, where Christ is seated at the right hand of God. Set your minds on things that are above, not on things on earth, for you have died, your life is hidden with Christ in God. When Christ is who is your life appears, you will also appear with him in glory. And it says, put to death, in verse 5, it says, put to death, therefore, what is earthly in you, the sexual immorality, impurity. Now, these are the things that are in the heart of man, right? Men and women, sexual immorality, impurity, passion, evil desires, covetousness, which is adultery. On the account of these, wrath of God is coming. And these you too once walked. These are people who walk according to not in the ways of Christ, right? People who are not followers of Christ when you were living in them. But now you must put them all away: anger, wrath, malice, slander, obscene talk from your mouth. Do not lie to one another, seeing that you have been put on your old self with practices and have, I want to tear that one, and put the new self, which is being renewed in knowledge and after the image of its creator. Here is not Greek, Jew, circumcised, uncircumcised, barbarian, um, Scythian, slave, free, but Christ all in all. Okay, so I'm just continuing to finish this right here on 12, and then I'm going to go over to 17. It says, put on then God's chosen ones, holy and beloved, compassionate hearts, kindness, humility, meekness, patience, bearing with one another. And if one has a complaint against another, forgiving each other as the Lord has forgiven you. You also must forgive. And above all these things, put on love, which binds everything together in perfect harmony. And let the peace of Christ rule your hearts, to which indeed you were called in a body, and be thankful. Let the word of Christ dwell in you richly, teaching, admonishing one another in all wisdom, singing psalms, hymns, spiritual songs with thankfulness in your hearts to God. And whatever you do in word or deed, do everything in the name of Lord Jesus, giving thanks to God the Father. Wow, that's deep. Because listen, and a lot of people not going to want to hear this. A lot of people not going to want to hear this, man, because although we may disagree with people on things that may not be scriptural, but if these people's hearts in the right place and they're not trying to dishonor the Most High, why are we holding people judgment? We can't judge nobody in with our with the way we see things on their appearance. What is the matter of the heart? The Most High always looked in the heart of people. And even if you feel that somebody may be wrong, and even if they do get caught in, anybody gets caught in transgression, or they're they get caught in their iniquity, we're supposed to remain righteous and have mercy and have grace for each and every person. It doesn't matter who it is. It doesn't matter where it comes from, because listen, we desire mercy and grace when we make mistakes, when we have issues, right? We should have that same focus when we're dealing with each and every person every single day. Nobody is better than nobody in this walk. We all are falling apart. If it wasn't for Christ, none of us would be saved. None of us would be redeemed, right? So we have to understand that, look, when we walk in this life, we got to remain humble. We got to stay committed to what? What's our purpose, right? Glorifying the Father in heaven, right? That means that you have to serve him and honor him with everything that is within you by sub- denying your flesh, denying your ways and your thought process, trying to judge and look at somebody intently and say, look, I'm holding you accountable. You ain't doing this, you ain't doing it. Look at yourself in the mirror. Look at yourself, how you matching up, how you lining up with the scriptures, how you lining up with the commandments. Are you living in obedience to Christ's commandments? Are you standing firm in that? Are you standing true to that? Or are you just looking at people because you don't like them, or you don't like the way they move? You're not looking at you got to look at things in the spirit. You got to live in the spirit. The Most High Jesus Christ demands mercy before sacrifice. You may know, listen, man, if you got wisdom through the Holy Spirit and you know something ain't right, well, and you already tell people, listen, I'm gonna guide you in the right direction. This is what I found, and this is what the scriptures say. So you're gonna go ahead and still keep beating people up and knocking people over the head over stuff. You can't continue to do that. You can't live in Christ and just constantly strive and fight with people time and time again. You can't do that. That's not the way of the Most High. The way of the Most High, he desires us to have humbleness, meekness, people who seek peace. Peace, we will be called sons of God. Those who seek peace, those who feel with those who thirst for righteousness, we're going to be filled. Those who have the right hearts and the right mindsets. What is in your heart? Is your heart full of hate? Or you say you a follower of Christ, but you hate people? You racist? You judgmental? You looking down on people? Why? Because you got a higher knowledge, or if you got like some type of education, or you went to a prestigious university, or you part of some kind of fraternity or Freemason organization, you could look up and look high to somebody. Oh, don't look good, that peasant over there. No, Jesus Christ came for the lost. He came for the low. He came for the sick. He came for the people that were sick. You have to have his mindset. Everybody is the same. Love everybody the same. Every single person. Count yourself insignificant. Deny yourself. Build other people up, regardless if you agree with them or not. Some people celebrate this. Some people don't care about that. Who cares about that? That don't matter. What matters is if you winning souls for Christ. Are you loving that brother? Are you showing genuine, true love and honor and respect for people? Are you looking prideful? Are you trying to put yourself up over somebody, or try to win an argument, to try to win a debate, to try to make somebody look wrong? What's your intentions when engaging with people? What's your intentions? Are your intentions to win that person over for Christ, or the person to win that somebody else so you can say, oh, I made that man look stupid. I made him look dumb. He don't know what he talking about. No, that's not the way of Christ. The way of Christ is humility. The way of Christ is meekness. The way of Christ is love, peace, joy, all of that stuff. All of that's in combined with the love of Christ. How are you building somebody up? How are you helping somebody? How are you praying for people? Are you praying for people? Or you just talk about people behind their back? Or you just waiting for somebody to fall, just watching their Facebook post from the sidelines, like, yeah, I can't wait till this dude mess up. Boy, I'm gonna ride him, I'm gonna ride him, I'm gonna ride him. Are you doing that? or you praying for your brother, or you want your brother to get grow closer to Christ. Do you want your brother to have the heart and the mind of Christ? That's what we have to do, brothers and sisters. Pray for our brothers and sisters to have the mind of Christ, not the mind of the world. We trying to pull people out of the world, not send them back to the world. The world has already condemned you. Christ sets you free. Believe in Christ, live for Christ, obey Christ, let the Holy Spirit dwell in you and be used to glorify your Father so everybody can see that the Father is real through you. That's how you show God is real to people. We know that God is real. We look at creation. We know the believers know, but the world don't know. They think God ain't real. But we got believers that act like the world, and the world can't receive that. They don't know God because they don't see the difference. We have to have a difference. We have to walk different. We have to live different. We have to be set apart, which is holy. And that is only through the Most High, through his scripture and through his word and through his commands. If we're not doing that, we're not doing what we need to do as followers of Christ. We got to be humble. We got to be meek. We got to continue to serve and love our neighbors as ourselves. That's the true walk of a follower of Christ or a Christian. Humble yourself, honor the Most High, love him with all your soul, mind, strength, and might, and love your neighbor as yourself, regardless if you celebrate Christmas, if you don't celebrate Christmas, if you don't believe in all these holidays and stuff like that, it don't matter. Remember, if you are in Christ, you got to represent him every single day in spirit and truth, obeying his commands. If you're not obeying what Jesus Christ said, we're missing the mark. We have to walk and trust in him and abide in him. And regardless of what people think about you, what people say about you, cuss you out, call your names, try to use you and get over on you, the Holy Spirit give you wisdom on how to deal with people. The scriptures give you wisdom on how you deal with people. Utilize what he's gave us. We have all the tools, all the weapons to fight this war. So put on the full armor of God and equip yourself and be led by the Holy Spirit. Listen to the voice of God when he's trying to tell you something. Don't ignore it. Trust in him, believe in him, and abide in him. Continue to walk in faith. Don't walk by sight, walk by faith. Trust in him when there's hard times. Let him guide you. Use wisdom. Don't use your emotions. Don't use your anger to try to push your way in this world, because it's going to set you back. And in the end of the day, you're going to feel bad, especially if you're a follower of Christ. Trust in God with all your mind, everything that's within you. Like it says in the scripture, it says, love the Most High God with all your heart, soul, mind, and strength. Love your neighbor as yourself. In these two, you fulfill the law of the prophets. You fulfill it all. There's no other way. There's no other way to please God than to do that. Deny yourself. Pick up your cross and walk. Love your neighbor as yourself. Brothers and sisters, I love you guys all. Grace and peace to you. And I hope this just gives you a little bit of understanding of where I'm coming from. Like I said, I don't knock nobody for what they celebrate. But please, man, don't call me not a believer in Christ because I don't believe that's not his birthday or to celebrate his birthday. Please don't do me like that, man, because listen, I got grace and I got mercy for everybody. I love you too, Brother Andrew. Brother Terrell, I love you too, soldier. I don't knock nobody, man. I listen, I ask the Most High to make me humble every day. People may not see that, but I do, man. I really get on my hands and knees. You can ask my wife. I always talk to my wife. I say, babe, how, you know me, right? Do you see what I go through every single day? She said, I see, yeah, And it's like, I'm not trying to exemplify anything. I just want to exemplify Christ. I want Christ to be glorified. That's what I want at the end of the day. I want to win souls for Christ. I'm not trying to win it for myself. I'm winning for the kingdom, because at the end of the day, when I answer judgment, when I answer to the Most High, I want him to say, son, you did well. I love you. You were a man after my own heart. Come into my kingdom. That's what I want to hear. And I love him and I trust in him and I believe that I'm going there. I just have to keep enduring and staying in his commands and staying in his word, putting my trust and faith in Jesus Christ. You can too. Jesus Christ love you. You were created for a design and a purpose. You want what people say you are. All that stuff people say that you are, they cuss you out, they call you names. You are not none of that. You are word. You listen. Anybody who calls on the name of the Lord can be redeemed, can be saved, will be saved. You just have to walk in your identity in Christ. Live through Christ. Let Christ be your God. Don't let your world guide you. Don't let your feelings guide you. Don't let your emotions, don't let things in this world guide you. You let the Most High Yah through his word guide you. And you will be set free from the bound of the from the chains and the burdens of this world. You will be set free, truly set free indeed, if you abide in Christ and you live and you receive him in your heart and live according to his commands. So I love you guys. I'm praying you guys have a great week coming up. Brother Ray's going to go in, take a shower, and rest and study and chill out. But until next time, I love you guys. And remember, I love all of y'all. No matter what we go in this direction of these holidays coming up, I don't want no argument, no strife with nobody. You know, I love each and every one of you. I just want y'all to understand that, listen, there ain't no love lost. If I don't celebrate Christmas, I don't hate you. I don't dislike you or nothing. I love you. And you are my brother and sister, because one thing I can tell you, if you believe in Jesus Christ, and I'm going to say that again, if you are a follower of Christ, I don't care where you come from. You are my brother and my sister, and I will love you as I love myself. That is my vow to the Most High, and I can't break on that. So I love you guys. Again, grace and peace to y'all. Till next time, Brother Way is out. Y'all have an awesome, blessed night. Peace.